What's up, Trojan fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Light the Torch podcast. This is your USC weekly recap, and we've got a packed show for you today. We're diving into some key updates for USC's fall camp, including the big news of Miller Moss being named the starting quarterback and what that means for the offense heading into the LSU game. Plus, we'll talk about the standout on the defensive line, Gavin Meyer, and how he's poised to make a huge impact this season. We'll also break down the running back depth chart, the ongoing battle on the offensive line, and Eric Gentry's transformation under the new defensive scheme. And of course, you won't want to miss out on our receipt of the week, where we tackle a ridiculous take claiming USC players are soft because they're from Los Angeles. Spoiler alert, they're dead wrong. We'll dive right into that and more, so let's get into it. Let's start with the big news. Miller Moss has officially been named USC starting quarterback, and this decision comes as no surprise after his stellar performance in the Holiday Bowl. Moss has shown patience and resilience, staying ready through coaching changes, and now it's his time to shine. Lincoln Riley's praise for Miller Moss's leadership and readiness sets the tone for USC's offense as they prepare for the season opener against LSU. Moss joins an elite quarterback group under Lincoln Riley, and he knows he got to prove himself to be mentioned alongside the likes of Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and Caleb Williams. Now, turn to the defense. Gavin Meyer has really stepped up during fall camp. His 6'3", 290-pound frame is exactly what USC needs on the interior defensive line, especially with the lack of proven talent outside of Bear Alexander. Meyer's previous experience at Wyoming, where he recorded 26 tackles, 48 pressures over 2 seasons, has set him up for what could be a breakout year at USC. His leadership and work ethic are already making a huge impact on this team. Next up, the running back room, where Woody Marks has asserted himself as the starter. This Mississippi State transfer brings a lot to the table, especially with his pass catching ability, but don't sleep on Quentin Joyner, who's right behind him and ready to break out. Riley made it clear that all 4 running backs will most likely see action this season. The depth and versatility in this room will be crucial as USC navigates a tough schedule. Let's not forget about the battle on the offensive line, where Alani Noah is competing for a starting right guard spot. Noah's been putting in the work both physically and mentally, and it's paying off. He's gained valuable knowledge from veterans like Jonah Monheim and Gino Quinones, and his growth is evident. The O-line might be young, but they've got the talent and chemistry to hold their own, especially against a team like LSU. Noah's attitude is spot on. He knows they're inexperienced, but he's ready to show everyone what they're capable of. Back on the defensive side, Eric Gentry has been thriving under the new defensive scheme. The bond between Gentry and linebackers coach Matt Entz is strong, and it's clear that Gentry is enjoying this fall camp much more than he did last year. He's playing multiple positions, which adds versatility to the defense. The vibe around the defense this year is just different. Players are more confident, the scheme is simpler yet effective, and the coaching staff is dialed in. Gentry's remark about learning how to play football this year versus last year really says it all. This defense is more connected, more focused, and they're out to prove they can stop the run, starting with LSU. Finally, Lincoln Riley mentioned something that should get every Trojan fan excited: the return of Pete Carroll. While Carroll is coming back to teach, Riley left the door wide open for Carroll to have a more active role with the football program.
Hey, Coach. Good afternoon. Coach, Pete Carroll is scheduled to return to campus as a teacher this year. And, Alabama has retained Nick Saban as kind of an analyst to help Kalen DeBoer smooth into that position. Is there any chance you could see a same possibility for Pete Carroll?
I'd love to have him. He's great. Coach has been great to me. We've had a chance to catch up pretty often, check in with each other. He's been a great resource and, a great person to be able to pick his brain, and he's been very good to me. So yeah, I'm excited he's going to be here more, and would be crazy to not take advantage of having him around. So whether it's in an official role or not, he's made it very clear that, we've got a good open line of communication. It's one that I appreciate and respect very much, and will always never hesitate to pick up the phone and call him or to reach out to him. Because of obviously how successful he was as a coach, and he's obviously got a great knowledge of this place. I've been appreciative of his help and his friendship, and be glad to have him around a lot more.
Can you imagine the synergy of having Riley and Carroll both contributing to USC's success? That's the kind of legendary partnership that could bring back the glory days for Trojan football. All right, Trojan fans, it's time for the receipt of the week. And boy, do we have a hot one. There's this ridiculous take floating about USC players are too soft because they're from Los Angeles, that Miller Moss and the Trojans are just a bunch of Gen Z soft boys who can't hang with LSU. Seriously? That notion that our guys are too busy surfing and talking about their feelings to be killers on the field is so out of touch, it's laughable.
Maybe this is a bit of my Los Angelino hate coming through, but I've spent a lot of times hanging out with people in Los Angeles, and the fellas are fine. It's a lot of nice people, but ultimately, a soft people, if we're being fair. And I like you, if you are this LSU defense, Jake, you cannot come out here in Las Vegas in front of the entire country and let Miller Moss and this version of USC push you around.
Oh, no.
Pete Carroll ain't coming through that door, okay? These aren't the killers that Carroll had out of South California back in, back in the early 2000s, okay? These are the TikTok Gen Zers that you love to hate on so much if you're listening to this show. These are the new generation soft boys from the West Coast who just want to talk about their feelings and go surfing all day. And it's Miller freaking Moss. And this is LSU, or at least it's supposed to be, right?
Let's get real. This USC team is built on grit, toughness, and the relentless pursuit of victory. Lincoln Riley has reignited the fire that made USC a powerhouse, and Miller Moss is ready to take this team with the same tenacity and fight that Trojans have always had. Don't sleep on this squad. Just because they're from the West Coast, when they hit the field in Las Vegas, they're going to show exactly what it means to be Trojans. The real softness here is underestimating this team. So, to all the doubters out there, keep that same energy. When USC is pushing around that LSU defense, we'll be ready to pull all the receipts and remind you exactly why you were wrong. Alright, Trojan fans, that's a wrap for today's episode. We've covered everything from Gavin Meyer's rise on the defensive line to Miller Moss securing QB1 spot, and even the possibility of Pete Carroll getting involved with the program again. We also took down that absurd take in our receipt of the week, reminding everyone that USC squad is anything but soft. We want to hear from you. What are your thoughts on USC's fall camp? How do you feel about the starting lineup decision? Drop your comments down below. And don't forget, we're just shy of 1,000 subscribers, so hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share to help us reach our goal before the LSU game. Keep the torch burning bright, and as always, fight on.